Howdy! Thanks for learning about MS with me, Aaron Boster. In today's video, we're going to tackle a topic which is near and dear to my heart: exercise with multiple sclerosis. The simple reality is, if you want to live your best life despite having MS, you must exercise as part of your lifestyle. Now, frequently in clinic, patients ask, how am I supposed to exercise? I'm so exhausted, or when I do, I seem to make my symptoms worse. Well, by the end of today's video, you'll know the exact answer to that question. So don't turn away, because all of that starts right now. First things first, why is exercise so important in MS? Well, research shows that regular physical activity reduces fatigue and cog fog, improves balance and mobility, boosts mood and mental health, and helps manage spasticity and prevent falls. Now here's the kicker. Exercise slows disease progression in MS, literally protecting your brain and spinal cord. So if you haven't added exercise into your MS toolkit, it's time we do that now. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Dr. B, I'm too tired to exercise. Or, when I exercise, I end up in bed for a day. Now, in the setting of MS, these are valid concerns, and I'm going to help you tackle them. Common barriers to exercise include, number one, MS fatigue. You are so exhausted that the thought of exercise seems literally impossible. Number two, spasticity. Spasms, painful cramps, and legs that are hard to bend makes movement super challenging. Number three, motor fatigue and heat sensitivity. Many people impacted by MS become temporarily weaker, and some of their symptoms intensify when they get overheated. And number four, deconditioning. Prolonged periods of not exercising regularly have contributed to weakness, making getting started exercising even harder. Now stay tuned, because I'll show you how to work through all of these challenges. I want to start by keeping in mind that there are four aspects of exercise which should be the focus for people impacted by MS. Number one is core strength. Number two is balance. Number three is limb flexibility. And number four is cardiovascular endurance. With these in mind, let's discuss types of exercises that are both safe and effective for people impacted by MS. Now remember, you don't have to be an athlete to see benefits. We're going to literally start small and slowly work our way up. Let's consider the following low-impact exercises. Walking. Even 10 minutes of walking a day can make a major difference. Yoga. Yoga is amazing in that it helps with limb flexibility, core strengthening, and balance. Moreover, yoga is a form of mindfulness and helps us learn stress management. Water-based activities are literally magic in MS. If you get overheated, the water wicks away the heat by convection. If you're off balance and fall to the left, the water literally pushes back to the right. You weigh less in the water, and so you can do more on a weak leg. Any water activity, whether that be swimming, water aerobics, or walking laps in the pool, can be massively helpful. Resistant bands. Resistant bands are a great way of improving strength without having to lift heavy weights. Stretching. Don't underappreciate the value of stretching. Focus on your back, your hips, your butt, hamstrings, and calves. Remember to hold each position for 30 seconds. And I would recommend that you incorporate stretching into your daily routine. Once in the morning when you wake up, once at night before you go to bed, and throw in a stretching in the middle of your day. Balance exercises. Don't forget to focus on balance. Things like using a Wii Fit board or gentle Tai Chi moves can be amazing. This is a key element to help prevent falls. Here's a simple balance exercise that you can easily do at home. Position yourself in a corner and place a chair in front of you so that we're safe and you won't fall. Using movie magic, I've removed the chair so you can see. Feet are together, hands at your sides, turning your head left to right. We're going to practice on balance. Once you've mastered that, we're going to kick up the intensity by putting our feet in a tandem position. This makes the exercise much more challenging. After you've mastered tandem, we're going to really kick it up by trying to do the same exercise balancing on one leg. Let's talk about pacing yourself, and I want to share a story. Years back, I was in clinic with a patient of mine in his early 60s, and he was with his wife, and he bragged a bit that he could go to the gym for 2 hours, which I thought was impressive. Then his wife literally slapped him and said, "Now tell the doctor what happens." And he kind of sheepishly said, "Well, then I'm kind of in bed for 2 days." That's a real story. He exerted himself too much. He used up all of his energy, and he literally had to then recover for 2 days. We gamed out a way that he could go to the gym and exercise for 20 or 30 minutes, but he was able to do that every single day. Here's a few pro tips to keep things safe. Consider the timing of your workouts. Literally, when is the best part of the day to work out? It might be more effective if you exercise first thing in the morning when you have as most energy as you're going to have. Choosing to exercise in cooler parts of the day and choosing to exercise after a restorative nap are ways of making it more effective. I want you to learn to monitor your exertion, and there's a helpful scale called the RPE, or the rate of perceived exertion. Now this is a 1 through 10 scale, where 1 is minimal exertion, like sitting on the couch, and 10 is maximal exertion, pushing it as hard as humanly possible. When you're exercising with MS, for many people it's helpful to target a low-middle range, something in the 3 to 4 range. You should be able to carry on a conversation during the workouts. Learning to give yourself feedback and get a sense of the rate of perceived exertion will help you plan out your workouts and keep you successful. Consider utilizing cooling aids. Many people impacted by MS find that when they get overheated, they short circuit. Literally, their foot can get weak and start to flap, or they can start to get unsteady on their feet. You can combat this with cooling aids. For example, many patients successfully exercise wearing a cooling vest or a cooling kerchief. You can drink ice water and you can have a fan blowing on you. All these things are not small adaptations. They can make a really big difference. As a pro tip, talk to your neurologist about the medicine Ampira, also called 4-aminopyridine. Ampira is a symptomatic medicine that doesn't work in all patients, but when it works, it literally buttresses against heat sensitivity, so you can get your exercise on and not melt in the heat. Check your next day recovery. The day after your workout, assess whether or not you can carry on normal activities of daily living, normal working, etc. If you find that the day after your workout you're kaput, then yesterday's workout was too much. During the workout yourself, you might feel awesome and think, I can do all the things, which might be true. But if you're paying the devil's price the next day, that's too much, and it'll teach you to scale back and save some energy for tomorrow. And I want to stress it again, consider incorporating water-based exercises. Let me share with you another story about a dear patient of mine with primary progressive MS who is having increasing difficulty walking with his walker and starting to use his wheelchair more and more. We crafted a plan. He went into the swimming pool at the local YMCA wearing a life jacket and actually brought his walker, and he would walk laps in the swimming pool, doing this 2 to 3 times a week. When he came back to clinic several months later, the MA said, "Hey, Dr. B, he won't do his timed 25 foot walk until you come out in the hallway and watch." When I got out there, he looked at me and said, "Young man, are you ready?" He then picked up his walker and he walked the 25 feet. And lastly, consistency is key. Our goal is not to run a marathon, climb a mountain, or become a professional MMA fighter. We're looking for slow, steady improvements. And I like to think about presenteeism. I want you to get in the habit of putting on the Lululemon, putting on the cute sneakers, and going to the gym on a regular basis, let's say every Wednesday and Sunday. What we do there is secondary. I want to get in a pattern where you get used to adding in exercise as part of your lifestyle. That's a recipe to slowly increase our endurance, and a great way to stay in shape with MS. Please remember this, exercise is not about perfection, it's about progress. I want you to start small, celebrate the small wins, and don't hesitate to listen to your body and take a break, take a couple days off when you need to. Here's a pro tip. If you're having trouble getting started with exercise, ask your neurologist for a referral to neurophysical therapy. The neurophysical therapist is expertly equipped to help you craft an exercise program specific for your needs. It's a great way to get started. I like to give a shout out to a friend of mine and a genius neurophysical therapist named Dr. Gretchen Hawley. If you're not familiar with her, then you're missing out. She's got an amazing online presence and she wrote a rock star book. And if you're trying to learn about MS with exercise, definitely check her out. If you'd like to up your game and learn more about how to beat up on MS, click the video that's on your screen right now. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Until my next Monday morning video or my next monthly live stream, or even better yet, the next time I see you at the Boster Center for MS, this is Aaron Boster saying be safe and take care.